Hello and welcome to Big Orbit Games unboxing video of the new Dice Masters Marvel Civil War 2-player starter set. My name is Simon and I'll be doing the unboxing today. So what I'm going to do is just open this up and show you what you get inside. So I'm going to assume that you're new to the game, which is why you're watching an unboxing of a 2-player starter set. However, if you're already an established Dice Master and you're just curious about what new cards come in the 2-player starter set, then flick forward until you see me start going through the cards. So in here you get everything you and another friend would need to start playing Dice Masters. This is called a 2-player starter set for a reason. So you get all the basic action dice and psychic dice you need, enough character dice to at least have a few small games between yourselves, all the cards you'd need for that, and of course rulebook and even dice bags in case you don't have dice bags, which to be fair actually a lot of people don't really seem to. So I'm just going to open this up slightly, so it's still taped down to start with, and again when you first start out it's not a bad way to keep your cards stored inside here and your dice, but as you can see you very quickly run out. I'd highly recommend you look at investing in something like the collector's box set, or look at some sort of like, you know, plastic tubs, etc. So this is everything you're getting in the set. So we'll start with the most boring yet the most important part, which is the rule book. They've tried to lay this out as best as they could. It does make it easy to read the rules and flick through. There's some very good examples on how to play and how stuff works, which I really like. Of course the rules do go into some depth because you need to make sure everything's right. One of my favourite features is in the middle is a movement diagram / playmat. This is so useful when playing for the first time or teaching new players, because you can use this in front of you and you know it's a really good quick reference and you know roughly where everything should be going. So it's my favourite part of this manual. I think every game should do that. And yeah, it just gives you lots of good examples. And then towards the back you have the tournament rules as well. Again, something else other companies don't seem to do. And then just a little bit more definition on some of the wording. And then right at the back is the lexicon. So if you see certain words on dice and you're not entirely sure what they mean, for example, some of the new abilities like enlistment and resistance, it's all in here. Just keep hold of your rulebook, flick to the back page, the lexicon, and there you go, sorted. And then the turn summary on the back, so again, if you are just learning for the first time, you can just keep it next to you, and you can just reference the rules right there. So you also get in here, you get dice bags, and of course being Civil War, it's all about that Team Cap or Team Iron Man. So of course, naturally, the bags feature Team Captain America and Iron Man. And then on the back is their respective symbols for it. So these are fairly durable paper bags. They are surprisingly tough. Now the artwork on stuff on them will wear out over time, probably quite quickly, around the edges anyway. But they're actually surprisingly tough. You know, I'm trying to gently push against that, and it's not trying to push actually quite hard there, and it's not tearing. So as long as you're not too rough, because again it is only a paper bag, but as long as you're not too rough, these actually are very good and will last you quite a long time, and much better than the original sets, which used to just be simply a blue and a red one. Now you get cool artwork on them. So yeah, so these are great to start with. The collector's box sets have things like velvet bags, and again, it's, you know, you can get bags from all over the place. So yeah, so plenty of choice there. So let's show you some of the dice. So we're going to very carefully push the dice out of here. Let's try not to make too much of a mess because they're very tightly packed in there. So, like I said, you get more than enough. No, I've just given up. They're going everywhere. You get enough dice to get you and your friend going on a few games. It's not enough to make 2 full teams, but it is enough to play some starter games and get used to the mechanics of it. You also get a packet of Ninja Dust. Two of the basic things in here are your basic your sidekick dice. So these are called sidekick dice with a little pawn symbol on it. They have a field cost of 0, attack of 1, and defense of 1. And then they have one of each energy symbol on the sides. So fist, shield, lightning, and mask. And then on the other side they have the mystery, which no one knows. No, I'm joking. It means one of any energy. So 5 of the dice facings are energy, 1 of the facings is the sidekick itself. Then you also have the basic action dice. So this one has 3, when the camera wants to focus, this one has 3 facings with the number 2 on it. So the number 2 just means 2 generic energy of no particular type, and then you have the action symbol itself with these asterisks. So 1 is a single burst, that is a double burst, and the rules on the card will tell you what that means and what it affects. And these facings with the exclamation marks means you get to do the action. And then onto normal characters. So we have here, I think it's Black Widow and She-Hulk. You can see the different kinds of dice. Again, they follow the same pattern of having the field cost on the left, attack in the top right, and defense in the bottom right, and then their symbol in the middle. And then they also have these energy icons. So they have a facing with a single energy icon, and then they have 2 facings with 2 double energy icons. And that's also the energy that will be needed to purchase them usually as well. So yeah, so there you go. That's a rundown of the anatomy of the dice themselves. You got some cool ones. So some of them have just single block colours. Others, like the Black Widow one, are actually translucent. You can just sort of see there through the light. And then you have some, this is sort of a new marbling effect, which you don't receive very often, but there seems to be a few dice in this newer set which does it. So here we have your wad of cards. So let me open this up and show you the different cards you're getting there. So right on the top you have a checklist. So as always, this is a dice game, this is a collector's game, so you can use this as a checklist to say you've gotten hold of those cards. Shame they don't have like a spot for 4 or 5 little ticks to denote for yourself how many dice of each one you've got, but still, it's a checklist. It lets you see all the cards that are in the set, and like I said, you can tick them off as you get hold of them. You then have your, what they call the reminder cards. So what you do is when you play a basic action, because basic action have technically no like directly affiliated dice, sorry. They just have the 2 and the 3. So what you do, when you pick your basic action cards, you'll place that under there like so, and then you'll find your orange, which actually look yellow, dice, and you'll place them next to it. And you know that once these have been picked up and put in a player's bag and they're not on the card anymore, you know any orange dice are the frontline action card in this example. So that's your basic action reminder cards in there. They've done different colours through different sets, so, and again they might do different colours in future. So here we have the basic action cards. So let me just separate these out from the actual characters for a moment. So when you play a game, you'll pick 2 of these each. They go into play, and any player can purchase these basic action dice. So remember to look at your opponents, because you can purchase theirs as well as yours. So let's go through the card. So the name of the card, for example, on this one is the Frontline, and it tells you it's a basic action card underneath. It costs 5 energy to purchase, and that's 5 of any because there's no energy symbol behind it. So 5 of any energy. And then underneath you've got the ability of the card, of the dice when you play it. So unblocked attacking character dice gain +3 attack until end of turn. So what this means is when you attack with a character dice, if it's not blocked, it gets +3 attack until end of turn. If you've played this front line, for example, when I said orange, if you've played this dice, so you'd have to roll it with that face up, and then you go, aha, I'll play this and gain front line this turn. You then also have a global ability. So global is pay 1 fist, target opposing character die can't block this turn unless your opponent pays 1 life. Now double check what the exact timings of the global in the rulebook, but the way globals work is that if you have a fist energy, you can pay and do this global ability. And here's the catch, so can your opponent. So any cards, including character cards you have with global abilities, either player can trigger. So bear that in mind. So that was the front line. I really like this card. It's really good if you're swinging out with a full a full front line of attackers. And again, the global you can pay to stop your opponent from blocking as well. So even if they've got a big defensive lineup, you can still, you know, get the most value out of this action by stopping them from being able to block and swing through and hopefully, you know, cinch the win. We then have Superhero Registration Act. I think this is my favourite basic action. I'm a simple man and this is a simple card. For 4, you draw and roll 2 dice, which is amazing. And then Enlistment, instead, draw and roll 3 dice unless your opponent KOs an opposing character die. So Enlistment's a new ability to this set, and what it means is that you get a beneficial or possibly additional effect unless your opponent KOs one of their active dice. So one of the dice that's got the character facing up in their field zone, they have to KO, so knock them out, in order to stop you from getting the benefits. And I just like this card because you get to draw and roll dice. Now you do this draw and roll after your re-roll step, so you won't get to re-roll them sadly. But it could grant you, you know, you could roll the extra character you want to field, or you could be rolling extra energy for purchasing. You know, this, it's so good to draw and roll more dice. So definitely one of my favourites from the set. We have Suffering and Satisfaction. So this is only a 2 cost. And when you activate it, choose an affiliation. So affiliations are in the top left of a character card. So for example, Wasp has the affiliation of the Avengers. So choose an affiliation, target character die with that affiliation gets +2 attack, and a different target character die with that affiliation gets -2 attack. You may only use this action if 2 dice on the field have the same affiliation. So unfortunately, you might actually have to target your own characters with this if you want to use it and your opponent doesn't have, for example, other Avengers and you have your Avengers out. So it's a little bit of a narrow card. It only costs 2 to purchase. It might be more interesting to playing limited formats like the Rainbow Draft, I think, but otherwise it's probably the one I like the least right now, just because of how narrow it is. So we have Long Live the Resistance basic action card. So it's another 5 cost, and when you play it, gain 4 life. Oh, and Resistance. If a character die you control was KO'd this turn, gain 5 life instead. So Resistance is an ability that says when a die you control was KO'd, you know, something happens. And this works perfectly with Enlistment. So if one side has Enlistment and the other one has Resistance, it works perfectly in sync with each other. So this is quite a nice one. It's a bit pricey at 5, just for gaining 4 or 5 life, but again, that's nearly a quarter of your health, so it can be worth it. And global is pay a mask, prevent all damage to you from one opposing die's when attacks ability. And remember, like I said, globals can be used from either player. Then we have Eternal Dispute basic action card. So 4 cost, and target opposing character die deals damage equal to its attack to a different target opposing character die. Effectively, you do a ranged attack, or you throw yourself at an opposing character die and hopefully take them out before combat actually starts. Then we have Field Promotion. So it's a 4 cost, and spin all of your character dice up 1 level. That's really useful. The level is along the bottom here. So for example, on the Wasp, this is level 1, level 2, level 3. So you get to spin them all up 1 level, and then for the burst ability, so if you roll the facing with the burst symbols, instead spin all of your character's dice to level 3, and level 3 is the maximum level. So yeah, that's a pretty good one. Escape Incarceration. So it's 3 cost. Move a die from a used pile into your prep area. So that means when a dice is in your used pile, you haven't got a chance to draw it until your bag empties, and then everything from your used pile goes into your bag. Your prep area, however, after you draw your starting 4 dice for the turn, you then add anything that was in your prep area and roll it. So it means you get to roll the dice sooner than you naturally would. And it also has Resistance. If a character die you control was KO'd this turn, move another die from your used pile to your prep area, so you get to do it twice. So that's pretty cool. We have Driven Underground. So 3 cost, KO target blocking character die. So if your opponent has the audacity to block one of your characters when it attacks, you can just KO it. So, which is pretty good. And for the double burst, not the single, just the double, also deal 1 damage to target opponent. So you even get to slap them for daring to block you. And it's got global, play lightning to deal 1 damage to target character die that has already been damaged this turn. And again, you can use this to just finish off a character that's blocked and, you know, has been reduced down to 1 damage. We have Civil War, the card itself, the namesake. It's a cost to deal 2 damage to target opposing character die, and then the controller of that character die may deal 2 damage to target character die you control. So you can almost cause a civil war between your own dice. It's an interesting card, not one I think I'll play too often though. And then Brother Fights Brother. So 4 cost, each player KOs a character die they control. So simple as you both just effectively sacrifice a die each. And global, pay a shield when a character die you control is KO'd to gain a life. And again, you can both do this. That's a very interesting one, I think. Brother Fights Brother. So that's your basic action cards. So we're going to move on to your character cards here. So first up, we get the Wasp. So this is the Fashionista version. So characters can come in different versions. So we have, for example, Wasp Janet Van Dyne, Wasp Pixie, and Wasp Fashionista. Then you have the cost in the top left. So this is a cost of 3 energy, one of which has to be a mask, and she's an Avenger affiliation. And this one's ability is when she is blocked, deal a damage to target opposing character die not blocking Wasp, so she gets to ping a little bit of damage. And global, to pay a mask to target character die must block this turn. And then it shows you the max 4 is the maximum number of dice you can associate to this card. So the maximum you can put on there is 4. And then underneath it just reminds you of what the dice looks like. Because again, there could be different versions of the Wasp with different dice, etc. So you can see the different versions. I'm not going to go through literally every card here because, well, this one has no ability and this one is fast. It means it deals its damage before other characters do, except non-fast characters. And you get 3 of those. Now normally in 2-player starter sets you get 3 of all the characters. However, this one's a little bit different. You'll see in a bit. We then have She-Hulk, and this version's called Buy My Comics. So she's a 6 cost, and 6 is quite high if you think you only draw 4 dice each turn and your initial dice only have 1 energy facings. That means the maximum you can get is 4 energy in 1 turn, so you can imagine this is a bit more expensive to buy. And she has the new keyword, the new ability, Intimidate. So when you field her, you remove a target opposing character die from the field zone until end of turn, place it next to your character cards. So you take one of their dice that's in the field and put it away, and they lose control of it until the end of the turn. And at the end of the turn it goes back to them, but it's really good at just clearing out the field a bit. And then She-Hulk cannot be blocked by fewer than 2 character die, so makes it more awkward to block her. Then we have She-Hulk Sensational. She has Overcrush. Overcrush is when she attacks, if her attack value would exceed the defense of the blocking die, any excess goes over the top and damages your opponent. And when she deals combat damage to both an opposing character die and the opponent, so uses Overcrush, you gain 2 life. Pretty neat, hey? And when declaring blockers, She-Hulk can block up to 2 character dice, so good at stopping your opponent just sort of trying to swarm you over, possibly with psychic dice. We then have the Scarlet Spider. This is a new warrior affiliation card. This one is, while active, when an opposing character die is fielded, spin up each of your Scarlet dice a level. If you spin up at least 1 Scarlet Spider die, draw a dice and put it into your prep area. That's a really useful ability. Then we have Redemption. When active, when the opposing character die is fielded, spin up each of your Scarlet Spider dice 1 level. If you spin up at least 1 Scarlet Spider die, Scarlet Spider deals a damage to target opponent. So you can see how they sort of vary the different cards, but they still feel very similar. And then this one has Intimidate, so it steals one of your opponent's dice till end of turn. We then have Rocket Raccoon. He's a Guardian of the Galaxy affiliation, and this one simply has fast, and when attacking, your opponent must block each Rocket Raccoon die if they can. Then we have the fast version again, but this time with the global. Pay a lightning to deal 1 damage to target blocking character die. So again, that could be useful for, you use your fast, then you ping them with the global, and it could be enough to kill them so that they don't beat up Rocket Raccoon in return. And then the big flarking gun version, unfortunately, has no ability. Then we have Iron Man, Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. He has enlistment, so KO target character die blocked by Iron Man, unless target opponent KOs another character die they control. Character dice blocked by Iron Man get -2 attack. So enlistment's another one of those new words, like I said earlier, which was on the Superhero Registration Act. And of course, Super Registration Act, Iron Man, of course, goes together. Then we have Pro Reg Iron Man, so he's just got the burst ability, which you can see the burst symbol is only on his level 1 facing. When fielded, target character die you control gets +2 defense until end of turn. So we only get 2 Iron Mans in here, which is what's a bit different, and again there's a little bit different later. So we have here Falcon, the dive bomber. To note, at some point Sam Wilson does take on the Captain America mantle, so that's why he's wearing Captain America's outfit. Falcon is when the wingman version is when fielded, target sidekick is unblockable this turn. And then we have the talks to birds, which in the comics he does. Yes, he does talk to birds. So we have Captain America, Freedom Fighter. So he has resistance while active at the end of your turn. If a character die you control is KO'd this turn, deal 1 damage to target opponent. And whilst active at the end of your turn, spin each of your Captain America dice up a level. So that's really nifty. And then we have the anti-reg Captain America. So resistance while active at the end of your turn. If a character die you control was KO'd this turn, gain a life. So rather than damage your opponent, you gain life this way. And then while active at the end of your turn, spin each of your Captain America dice at 1 level. So the anti-reg and the Freedom Fighter are very similar. 1 hurts your opponent, 1 heals you. I mean, you get 2 of those in there. And then Black Widow, Widowmaker. This is a Thunderbolts affiliation version of Black Widow. So when fielded, KO target opposing character die with a fielding cost of 0. So really good at sniping your opponent's sidekicks, for example. When fielded, target opponent must spin down an opposing character die. They get to choose, however. So, but still spins them down, makes them weaker. And then Black Widow, Triple Agent. When fielded, deal the damage to target opposing character die. Nice and simple. So yeah, so that's all the cards you get in there. There's a little bit of variety in there, and it sits well with the main boosters as well. So if you're starting to expand away from this, it does go quite well with the main set. Overall, I think it's going to be really fun to play a starter set for you to play with if you are brand new to the game. There's some really cool dice in there and some cool interactions. It's not enough to build a full team for 2 players. You would need to expand either by buying another set of this, or by going into the boosters or through singles from us, for example. So it's not enough to go for a full-fledged team each, but it's definitely more than enough to give a taster, a sampling of what full-fledged games would be like. So, and you get some really cool basic actions in here as well. So there we go, that's everything in the 2-player starter set. If you have any questions or like to know anything else, then please feel free to ask them below and try and answer your questions as best as I can. And just quickly, for those who are brand new players, for those who are established players, these basic action cards, there's some really awesome ones in here, so you definitely want to get a hold of some of these. So there we go, that is everything in the 2-player starter set. So I hope you've enjoyed watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. I've also done a Gravity Feed opening and a collector's box opening, so if you're curious about those other Dice Master products, go check out the videos. Apart from that, like I said, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.